Happy Saturday, newsies. It is I, Becca Hector, and I am here for you guys um, today on a Saturday morning. As you can see, I'm still sort of only half awake, but I was feeling kind of bad that I didn't do newsstand yesterday, and I was feeling sort of like, I didn't do it, and I'm out of spoons, and blah, blah, blah. And, I did a little bit of the guilt thing to myself, and then I stopped because I remembered I was taking care of myself. But I wanted to get up this morning and kind of get it out to you as close to its normal time as possible so that we can keep on schedule with newsstand. And I guess in life in general, whatever. As you can see, it's really early for me to be doing this kind of stuff. I am not a morning person at all. My brain is still only half awake right now. I didn't even bother to, this is bedhead pretty much. I did the fake put my hair up thing for you guys, but really, bedhead, the whole deal. And just, I was gonna even today, for this week, I got the new Neuroclastic t-shirt, which I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but it's the merch that they're selling right now to help support Neuroclastic. And I had finally gotten mine, and I was so excited that I was gonna wear it for newsstand this week, and then I could share the link with you and all of that fun stuff, but I couldn't even get myself together to do that. I just said, I'm throwing on a hoodie, I'm gonna get them the news, and I'll wear it next week. So I'll wear it next week, and I'll get the link out to you guys for that. Yeah, so what else? Feeling kind of blue. I think we all are, stuck inside, getting a notification on my computer right now that is blocking my view. Okay. And I've just been like slow energy. I think all of us have kind of gotten into this new norm, I guess, sort of. But it's so odd. The world is so quiet. I'm so used to the world being so loud all the time and kind of preparing for the world to be so loud all the time. And by the world, I don't just mean like physically outside, because we're all staying home, so clearly that's not a problem. But I mean like the voice of the globe. Like sometimes, you'll go on the internet and you'll see everything is popping up and people are talking in that, and it just feels like the world is loud. Very quiet now, the world. That's how I feel. I feel like there's, unless you're posting about coronavirus these days, there's nothing going on out there except for that. And so that can be really overwhelming. It's getting me down. It was, in the beginning, I was like, oh, I'm really excited to kind of take advantage of this situation and what can I do? And I kept myself busy and everything. But I think it all caught up with me yesterday. So, it was on Wednesday? Thursday was World Autism Awareness Day. Oh, sorry, I don't even want to say that. See, I'm still half asleep. Okay. But it was World Autism Day on Wednesday and Thursday. Jeez, you guys. And I had a really busy day. I started out, earlier that week. I had a bunch of different interviews to do and things like that. And then I went live on Thursday myself in Neurodiversity Newsstand, the group on Facebook, where it all started. And I celebrated there for a little bit with you guys. And then it felt like dead. It just felt dead out there. I'm used to World Autism Day like that. I'm used to kind of having to really, really scan through and pull out and pick apart all of what I'm looking at, right? Because there's a lot of puzzle pieces floating around and a lot of all of that going on, and light it up blue versus red instead, and it's just a lot of stuff. But not on Thursday, rather. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird to not see what we usually see. It was weird to not see organizations that were used to being a loud voice on World Autism Day not there at all. And it says something. It said something to me that they weren't there at all, not even on World Autism Day. And could that be because it's not a fundraising year for them? Could it be that they are not as resilient as autistics and they couldn't recoup and get themselves together for a new plan for World Autism Day? I don't know, but it was oddly quiet from those places. Oddly quiet. Like I saw one Autism Speaks thing in the whole day, and that's it. So I don't know. I hope I'm actually curious if you guys had a similar experience. I'm just curious. But what we did see was a lot of autistic voices, because we just said, you know what, we're going to pick up. It's still World Autism Day. Just because we're all home doesn't mean we're going to forget about it. And we did our thing. Our golden moment went off on the 1st and the 2nd. A whole bunch of people I saw coming out on the 2nd. I did as well in my little video in Newsstand. And we had Neuroclastic coming out with a guide, which I'll share with you later on. And we had, I don't know, what else did we have go on? Autism Level Up did a really cute playlist this year. It was fun. There was some stuff going on that was really positive, but again, it felt overshadowed by what's going on, and as probably it should be, I guess, by what's going on. It's sort of a big deal, right? Okay, so that's that. Next up, I wanted to share with you guys, since as I was kind of like going about doing this thing, I wanted to share with you guys a hair update. So, okay, if you've been following for a long time, can you see all that? Okay, if you've been following for a really long time here on my channel, if you've been watching Newsstand, this year I decided that I was just going to do a bunch of things to envelop and develop my authentic self. And part of that meant for me really stripping down a lot of the things and parts that were my masking, some of which was in my hair dye and constantly dyeing my hair different colors, whatever, different haircuts. Some of it I think was in needing to wear makeup in certain situations, and definitely like getting a manicure and stuff like that really feminized hygiene stuff. That's not necessary. It's just something that we feel society puts pressure on us to do. So I've been stripping that away, and as part of that, I decided to stop coloring my hair. I think the last time I colored it was actually a year ago in April. So it's been a year since I've been growing it out, a year since I've been dyeing it. So it's about here is my natural color, and then the rest of it is still what was left of what's dyed. But I wanted to give you guys a hair update because I haven't talked about it. So the big hair update is that, yay, how lucky am I that I haven't been coloring my hair during this situation, and that I also don't have short hair right now and I'm growing it out because I don't need haircuts as much. So that's been convenient. Also, when I have bedhead, it's not as bad. I don't have to like wet my whole head and redo my hair if I have bedhead. I can now use clips and things, and I can actually officially, this is the mark that I wanted to make in a year, and I did it. I am in full ponytail, like the whole head goes in. I could wear a ponytail now. So you guys, the grow out happened. It's working. I will gladly share with you if you're interested the variety of things that I did to get my hair healthy again and to grow it back, and whatever. But I know some of you were following, so I wanted to give you the update because I realized it's been like crazy long time since I did that. So there you go. Hair update done. I think now it would behoove me at least, before I run out of voice, to get on to the news, shall we? All right, we shall. All right, here we go. I'm going to start out with coronavirus news. Why not? I don't really have much. We only shared a couple of things about it in the group, and I kind of love that it hasn't invaded our group and that we've kept the group really still what it's about, because that means that when we're going in there to kind of avoid having that in our face, it's not appearing again as we head into the group, right? But it is news in some cases. It is news pertaining to our community. And so there were a couple of articles that came in this week. I'm going to share them sort of together. One came from The Hill and the other one came from NPR, basically saying Trump officials say people with disabilities should not be denied care. And then NPR saying the Department of Health and Human Services saying that not to put people with disabilities at the back of the line for care. So this is a very American-centric kind of view on what's going on with the crisis. I haven't seen a lot of that news coming out of the UK just yet. Although if you guys have some, I would kind of love to know how are or are not disabilities being handled in this crisis in other countries. But this is sort of the kind of conversation going on here in America currently, in the disability world anyway, is about how it is often the case here in America that people with disabilities are, because of stereotypes and stigma and people's pre-beliefs about people with disabilities, that when they're assessed for care, they are not assessed the same way. They are also not provided care in the same way. And so we call that the crisis of care right now, and it's really coming down about civil rights and civil rights standards being upheld in the time of crisis. And so I'm curious what else is going on there in other countries. That's what's going on here in the US. If you want to see the nitty-gritty details, I will share those articles with you in the description. All right, moving on from coronavirus. Let's talk about just general world neurodiversity news. We had a little bit this week. I was actually kind of surprised as I went through the group and I was trying to pull apart the articles that either you guys found interesting or I also found interesting, or that other people might have overlooked during this kind of time. But I was surprised. I kind of had a lot more stuff than I imagined that I was going to have. So yay, maybe I haven't been keeping up. Who knows? But out of the Independent, the UK government is considering new rules to ban any anti-vax posts from Facebook and Twitter. And so what the UK is trying to do is sort of reformulate some of their laws and their rules so that, about social media it's sort of a new area that we're needing to have laws about, and so they're developing new laws and they're working on the problem of misinformation being disseminated. That being the case mostly in our community with the anti-vax situation and possible cures for autism that are most definitely misleading and certainly scams on people. And so that's what that article is about. It was in the Independent. I will, of course, put it in the description. Next up, out of Spectrum, again, don't always share from Spectrum, don't always like it, but this article actually has a bunch of newsies in it. And so we have to share and shout out to our fellow newsies. It was called How People with Autism Forge Friendships. And so it had a whole bunch of people in it that you guys may know and have seen around in Newsstand, talking about the way that it was often thought that autistics had no friends and no desire for friendship, when really we do have friends and we can develop friendships, and we do have desire for friendships. It just looks different than what neurotypicals are expecting. In fact, it's our interactions themselves apparently that look different. Who knew? So if you want to take a look at that and see what everyone had to say, please feel free to read it. I personally thought some of the language in there was a little patronizing, but that can, it happens, right? But I really thought you'd be interested, mostly because we have so many newsies in this piece. Okay, next up. From The Guardian. I thought this was an interesting piece. It's not the first time we've talked about this, but the way that it was worded I think it really grabbed people's attention. So the title was, My son was diagnosed with autism. Did he inherit it from my misunderstood mom? And so we know that, as we have seen, many women get diagnosed late in life. We're very, very good at masking. And so many women can live their entire lives without ever getting diagnosed. And so what's interesting is that rather than the mom of the child feeling that she needed a diagnosis, she actually was able to empathize with her mother, who was a difficult person for her, and hoping and kind of thinking about, what that means. So we talk about it all the time. We talk about how it comes in families. We talk about how it's not just out of nowhere, right? And so with that, I leave you with this article in The Guardian. Moving along. A little bit about World Autism Day. We had a few things come out on World Autism Day to continue the conversation that we want to be having, right, on World Autism Day. So first we had in Psychology Today from the duo and team, Erin Bullis and Abby Serseka have written yet again in Psychology Today, and their piece is called Moving Beyond Autism Awareness to Autism Acceptance. And that is what is happening now. We're trying to help people kind of move along and move away from the fact that they know we exist now, to accepting us and including us into their world. And so this was a great piece by the two of them highlighting that issue. And I like it when people write these still every year, because there are people out there who still haven't heard this information. So the more of us that say it and the more of us that write about it, and we all say it differently. Sometimes it's the way that it's said that it grasps a person. They might read about it 5 or 6 different times, but some person's way of saying it will touch them. So another piece in that same vein came in Neuroclastic this week from Kate Ross, Cherry Blossom Tree, if you follow her on Facebook. And it was called Brief Musings on Autism Awareness versus Acceptance. A little short piece from Kate, but really, really thought-provoking. an important one. So those two pieces I will be sticking in the description for you guys. Another one that I wanted to highlight, and it's not really a World Autism Day piece, except that the exhibition happened on World Autism Day. So I left it in that section for you guys. So Jess Kellar did an exhibition of art. It's really beautiful, colorful art, sort of focused on girls and women of the spectrum for World Autism Day. And she did an interview. There's a video of her work. I would take a look at it. It was gorgeous, and a lot of us were looking and loving it. So really, shout out to you, Jess Kellar. I hope you can hear us from wherever we're shouting, and it gets to you in your safe quarantine, knowing that we're shouting out to you, and we think your art is beautiful. So that. And lastly, as I mentioned briefly before, on World Autism Day, I went live in our Neurodiversity Newsstand Facebook group, the group where it all began, right? I've never done a Facebook Live before. I don't know why. I do YouTube all the time. I don't know why I never did Facebook Live, but I never did it before. And it was sort of neat to kind of explore doing a Facebook Live in the group with you guys, because you all know me and I'm always posting stuff and you know me from YouTube. So it was really familiar and comfortable. But it was something I never did. So it was neat to know that I was talking to my group, and the people that I knew I was talking to. So neato, if it was new to you guys and you came to the group for that, I hope you'll stay and enjoy what we're doing. If you missed my live stream, or my little Facebook Live rather, I'll stick a video link down here for you guys to take a watch of it, because it's how I'm going to be handling Autism April. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. So the next section, I know I usually do books, blogs, events, blah, 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 stuff like that. But this week there were a lot of resources that came out, and I wanted to share them with you because I'm seeing a lot more resources, and of course free resources, which yay, are coming out as we're all quarantined at home, and we're needing downloadable stuff. We're needing information to be available to us. And so I'm seeing those resources coming out, and I am being sure to save them and share them into group so that they also make it into the vlog. Because why shouldn't we have more resources? Yay for that. So here's my new little resources section for you guys. First up, from Kelly Mahler. She is an interoception and autism expert. She does amazing work on interoception. I love the stuff that she does, and she is an ally to our community in a big way. So shout out to you, Kelly Mahler. She has some free downloadable printables, she calls them, on her website, including something called a daily interoception activity sheet, which I think we should all do. I mean, I haven't really done a worksheet on my interoception. All the work I've been doing has been kind of piecemeal and putting it together. And now Kelly's got a free downloadable worksheet for me. So I'll be doing that for sure. But I wanted to share that with you guys. Next up in resources, from Neuroclastic. Yay, it's time, it's out. Volume 1 of Understanding the Autistic Mind. It is a project of the autistic community, so no one person is getting credit for it. It is the Neuroclastic collective that is putting together volumes of ways to understand the autistic mind. And for World Autism Day, they shared it, volume 1. And so I will give you a link to that so that you guys can check that out and pass it along if you like it. Last up in terms of resources, ASD Nest program, which comes out of NYU. They are sharing remote learning resources. They have it divided for families and for educators, and you can go on there and use some free remote learning resources to help your kids as you're stuck homeschooling, man. How cool is that? Thank you so much to ASD Nest for doing that and helping out our families out there. So I'll be sharing that link for you guys there on the bottom as well in the description for you. And last up, I guess, in terms of resources, Barb Cook and Yenn Purkis are doing a webinar on April 18th. They are doing a webinar together on relationships and the autism spectrum. It is going to be, I don't remember the time, but I'll give you the link so that you can look at it. I know that it's going to be about 3 hours that they're doing on relationships on the spectrum. And I know it's not that expensive, so you can definitely check that out if it's something that you're interested in or something you think somebody in your life might be interested in. So I'll be sharing that link with you. And then, as always, I save my little tidbits for the end of my stuff, because though I am still shouting loudly about myself, it remains to be uncomfortable for me. So I continue to do it, but I stick it at the end because somehow that makes me feel better. Like you guys have the option to leave if you don't want to hear about the stuff that I'm doing. So here's what I've got that came out this week that you can check out if you're interested. I am proud to say I did a live interview this week with Autism Live. It was fantastic. I did an interview with Shannon. We had a really good time. I think we had a surprising conversation. I hope people got a lot out of it. I think that she and I did for sure. So please take a look at that if you'd like. The interview itself starts somewhere about 35 minutes in. I think it's almost at 36 minutes in. So you can fast forward to that because I honestly don't even know what she talked about in the beginning of her show, and I can't vouch for whether it's a good resource or not. But I would love for you guys to check out the interview. So that will be in the description as well. Additionally, Autism Spectrum News, which I am a proud board member of Autism Spectrum News, the spring 2020 issue is out. The entire issue is about supporting girls and women on the spectrum, which is awesome. And I am proud to say that I wrote an article for this issue. So I wrote kind of what I call like an opinion piece or personal piece. And I wrote, because I was asked to write about fostering self-confidence in women. So I wrote about the ways that you can foster self-confidence and why we don't have self-confidence. And you guys, it is actually called Different is My Identifier. So you can check that out in this issue of Autism Spectrum News. I will give you the link to both those things because the entire issue of Autism Spectrum News is free for you to read. And it is online, so you can't catch COVID while reading it. And it's definitely something to do. So I will share the link to you guys for the whole issue as well as for my article in particular. And then very, 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 very last, I have to share with you and remind you that I have a webinar coming up too. Yes, I am also doing a webinar on the 18th of April, and I am doing actually my keynote that I would be giving at conferences. I'm actually going to be doing online because none of us can go to those conferences. But that doesn't mean that you guys had to miss out on my keynote or miss out on the opportunity to learn how to create a life that you don't need a vacation from, because that's what I did, and that's what the keynote is about, how I did it, and what it kind of turned out to be and how it came to be, and kind of sharing with you guys that journey, and the tools that I used to get there. It's sort of personal development is what it's called. It used to be called self-help. It's now called personal development, and I think it is the way for autistic adults to find quality of life. And quality of life by their own means. And so if you're interested in that, please check it out. I will share the registration link for you guys. I did it really, really cheap. I just want you guys to come check it out. I want it to be easy for you to say yes. So it is $35 right now to register for the webinar. As I get closer, prices go up. So starting on the 14th, it goes up to $45, but until the 14th, it's only $35. So please come check it out, because included in the webinar when I give it the first time will be a half-hour Q&A. It's sort of an AMA Q&A. I want you guys to know that you can ask me anything except for about my sex life. I won't answer that, but you can ask me anything else. You can ask me something about autism in general, something about my experience, something about what I talked about, but you don't have to ask me what I talked about. Also, please feel welcome to come if you're not autistic. I am open to and excited about sharing my ideas with everyone, because I think the things that help autistics will also help neurotypicals. But if you're a professional or you're a parent, not only do I think that you can glean stuff from what I've been talking about for your own life, but also to help the autistics in your life. So it is by no means closed to autistics only. While the presentation is geared toward autistics, there's absolutely information in there that anybody can benefit from. So I hope you guys will take a look at the webinar. Consider registering. I don't do this stuff very often, though I'm hoping to do more of it if this is successful. So I'll share that link with you as well in the description. And that's about it for me, you guys. I made it in my PJs. Yeah, I did it. I'm in my hoodie and my dirty hair. That's how I feel, but I did it. I got you guys Newsstand, and it's before noon, and I'm proud of myself, and I owe myself a second cup of coffee. So I'm going to go upstairs and make myself that and sit outside with the dogs while you guys watch Newsstand, and then hopefully go do something amazing with your day. It's a beautiful day out here today. I hope you guys are taking some time each day to sit outside, to just for some fresh air, just to step away from what's going on in your life and to take some moments to be with yourself and be mindful about how you're feeling. That's what I'm going to do with this weekend as I try to push through some of the sadness that's going on in the world. I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing weekend. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, please give me a thumbs down. If you have anything to say to me, you can always comment wherever you see this video, or you can email me directly at info@beccalaurie.com. I'm Becca Laurie Hector. I'll see you guys next week.